Alright, this is going to be a video about logging. It's what I do, it's what I grew up doing, family business. Right now we're doing a clear cut on some pines. This is actually a tract that my dad and them cut like 15, 16 years ago, something like that. The pines are 15, 16 years old, something like that. Anyway, the owner wanted to clear cut this. We do a lot of thinning management, which is probably what I would have done if it was mine. But anyway, that's the cutter I run. And again, clear cutting here means you cut all the trees, if you don't know. And like I said, we do a lot of management, like thinning type stuff, and I'm gonna show you a little demonstration. I just did a quick deal of it anyway. Like I said, clear cut, big open space, and right here is what you would call a row or corridor or whatever you want to call it for thinning. This is what you do. You cut these rows in like this. It's where you pull the wood out and you work the cutter. And if you see, there's an opening over there where it's another row, and I'll show you that. And like I said, this is what the wood looks like. It's usually about 40-50 feet in between one clear row like this and the next. So the wood is still in the row over here, but give you an idea. Here's the trees down, and see opening there, wood opening there. You see the other trees there, and this would be, you know, this is how thick they are to start with. You see they're probably like 5 foot apart, and we usually shoot for like 15 foot on the first thinning, about 25 on the second. You can see how the tops are pretty much all touching each other, where they're crowded in here and the roots are crowded, so you want to thin them out. When you can, you would take fork trees like that never amount to anything, not worth very much, and save your trees like that one. That'll make better quality logs down the road. You can't get all the brush out sometimes, but all the little stuff like this that you can, we try to take that out. And like I said, over here, this is not you know, perfect row space here. I get a big bare spot here, but anyway, this is just a quick representation I throw together. But thin this a little bit here, as you can see. Try to get, you know, opened up in there, get it room to grow, open the crowns up. Try to save your best trees when you can. And like I said, try to take down all of the little stuff. Of course, you can't get it all, but as you can see, a lot of it's cut down and all of that. Like I said, here's a clear cut, big open spot. I just decided to throw this together and kind of show you some of the differences. Now, a lot of you probably think that, you know, logging, you just cut all the trees and that's all it is. But at least where I'm at in Virginia, most of it is managed in some type of program. Like I said, this is a private owner, but he did plant it back when it was cut the first time, and I'm sure he's going to plant it back again. Like I said, usually we do the thinning. You know, it's cut off and it's best to have it sprayed and cleared off to keep the brush down, and then plant it back. And then somewhere 15, 20 years, somewhere in that span, it's usually big enough to do a first thinning, come in and clean it up, get it some room to grow, get some of the brush down, save the best trees if you can. And then usually sometimes 5 years, but usually more towards 8 or 10 more, then you come in and, of course you can always go for a clear cut, but mainly then you come in and do a second thinning, take out the worst of the trees again, try to save the best, and get better logs, better quality. And of course they're bigger and taller, they got more weight, brings more money for whoever owns it. And again, all this is just relative to pine. Hardwood you don't really thin and all that kind of stuff, but it's basically just give you an idea. And like I said, for some that don't know a lot about logging, I think you just cut all the trees and that's it, they're gone. Usually they're planted back and managed, because if you didn't, you really wouldn't have a business, you wouldn't have an industry. If you cut all the trees and there's no more left to cut, you're done. But anyway, that's what we do out here. There may be different places and different people do a different style of thinning or management or whatever, but anyway, that's what we typically do. And that's just a quick little peek. And when it comes to land thinning or clear cutting, if you near a waterway like a river or a creek or something like that, then you leave a buffer strip or watershed or whatever some people call it. Typically on big waterways you leave about 50% back away from the water, and then sometimes you do go in and kind of thin that out a little bit. And there are actually programs like Department of Forestry that do make sure the water stays clean and everything's done right, or else you get a big old fine. So again, for those that don't know much about logging, it's not go grab a saw and cut all the trees you can find. It's actually pretty well managed. It's been working pretty good for 50, 100 years, something like that. We still have trees everywhere, every day. And again, not all of it gets planted back, but that's the landowner's choice. If he decides to make a field or build a house or whatever, that's up to him. But a lot of times it does get planted back for future business. Still a lot of wood products being made, your toilet paper, regular paper, furniture, OSB board, they use in hurricane season when they have big storms and everything. And it's a renewable resource if it's done right and managed right. Like I said, luckily we've been doing pretty good at it, I guess. Cutting for a good company, and what we do is subcontract, I guess you call. They usually find the wood, sometimes we find it, but they make the deals with the landowner and all that involved, and we do the work. And we have a good forester to take care of whatever needs doing for us or the landowner, building roads in to get the wood out, things like that, taking care of the water quality and timber management. And usually he helps them get it planted back and fixed up like you like. He brings a guy with the bulldozer in, do whatever work needs to be done for the environmental stuff, BMP work and stuff like that. But anyway, that's about all I got for this one. Just a quick little glimpse into the logging world. And if anybody's interested in, anything more of it, or, things like that, more videos of it or whatever, then I'll try to help answer what I can. And anyway, see you.